What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. Well, today's episode of First String Podcast, we have Adam joining us from the Burgundy Gold Report. We got our Bills fan, our guy, Gene, from Bills Mafia, who's going to join us too. He's going to talk to us about some playoff games that happened this weekend. Said has leaking oil. The Washington Commanders have a new GM that they introduced today, Mr. Peters, and we'll break all of that down. I hope y'all are ready. It was a great Super Wildcard weekend. Let's go.
Yeah.
First String Podcast. Yeah. Q Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First String Podcast. Yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates. We don't pump fake. Like, comment, share. We don't care. Feel free to hate. We got great guests join us. You should chime in. Houdini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet $1 million, bet $1 million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's talk about it.
Welcome back to First String Podcast. Do not forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. And the most important part is that you tell a friend to tell a friend about First String Podcast. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share. Of course, the squad is here. We ready to get into it. First off, let's bring in Bill Belichick's number one fan, our guy, Said. What's happening, Said? How are you? Did I say something wrong?
I wish they would bring Bill Belichick in. I might change teams.
I heard you personally sat in on the interview. That's not true. Okay. All right. Well, let's bring in Adam Peters, Mr. Peters, number one fan, Lady A. How are you?
Not yet. Don't say that yet.
You're not his number one fan just yet? Or
no.
You're talking about Bill Belichick?
Because, I mean, he's real eager. He's excited. But
he's excited.
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Listen, something happened on, what's it, Sunday? Something happened on Sunday. And Ant's not here. I don't know exactly what it was. He will be showing up, supposed to be showing up. So let's get our guests in here. Let's bring in Adam first from the Burgundy and Gold Report. Adam, how you doing?
Hey, Adam.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey, we're doing real good. Hey, so now listen, we got the general sitting back here, right? This is from our guy Gene from Bills Mafia is in the house. Gene, how are you, man?
Hey, Gene.
All right, doing good. How y'all doing today?
We are doing real good. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat real quick. Starting off, we know Bruce Glass is first in the building. Bruce is always there where he's supposed to be. I wonder if Bruce had a good weekend like I did. Followed by Dump Truck Don.
Hey, Don.
Right, and then we got our guy John in the building from Garage Gym. He said he has arrived.
Yes, he has arrived.
Leaking Oil sponsored by CLP.
You got that right. I got plenty of CLP over here playing. Plenty of CLP.
Right. Leaking Oil sponsored by CLP. Not sure if anybody foresaw Dallas getting beat down is what Dump Truck Don is talking about here. But I thought the Eagles weren't going to do anything anyway but lose, of course.
I didn't think it was going to be like that, though.
Who was it? Leaking Oil, sponsored by the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders defense.
Oh, dang.
Said, you hear these? You hear this?
They didn't say nothing about the Giants. I guess they are non-factor.
He forgot the Giants, I guess. And then Drew checked in.
Hey,
Drew's here. Drew took it on the chin like a true Cowboys fan. He was upset. Lady A pumped the brakes on that Adam Peters. Okay.
Yeah, he said he's with me.
I got you. And then we got the question of the month, which we're about to get to for both of you guys. And I forgot to put it in that chat that you guys. Lady A, you got to trust the man who looks like Bruce Wayne. That's what John said. That's what
I don't know if he looked like Bruce Wayne to me, but he definitely has a look.
Yeah, he look like a millionaire for real. Superpower. What's
He
your
has a
superpower?
look.
My wallet is my superpower. Okay, question of the month. Okay, name your top 5 favorite Super Bowl teams of all time. All right, so I'll give you guys a chance to think. I'm going to give you mine real quick. Okay, so my first one would be and this is in no particular order, the '85 Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle team with Jim McMahon, Walter Payton. Those guys did the thing right up until they played Miami, and then from there they went on a tear. Next is the '82 Washington Redskins, the 4th and 1 with John Riggins, followed by the '91 Washington Redskins. They were just unbelievable, mostly because they gave up single-digit sacks throughout their NFL season. Got in the playoffs, gave up a couple more, but that team was totally dominant. Probably, arguably one of the best teams ever, and according to Super Bowl stats and facts. The Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Giants with the back-to-back kickoffs in the Super Bowl. I'm partial because one of my friends, Jermaine Lewis, returned that second kickoff, and then I said it wrong last time. The San Francisco 49ers versus the Cincinnati Bengals with the drive. John Taylor, Jerry Rice, that Joe Montana, that phenomenal drive that they put together. That's mine. Lady A, you got yours ready?
Yeah. My faves were the '87 Redskins, the 2000 Ravens, the '78 Steelers, the 2008 Giants. I know that's kind of a surprise. And of course, the '72 Dolphins.
Okay, say it.
Excuse me. Yeah, mine started out with the Dolphins, of course, undefeated team. They should be number 1 to their beating. Then mine was Super Bowl 22, Washington Redskins versus the Broncos because of Doug Williams. Super Bowl 20, the Chicago Bears versus the Pats. Super Bowl Shuffle, we all know about that.
Yep.
Super Bowl 30, Dallas Cowboys versus Pittsburgh Steelers, only because of Deion. Deion was my favorite. He started in Georgia. So, but because the Deion factor made a difference in this game, a lot of people don't believe that, but when you only throw to one side of the field, hey, that's a part of the game. And then my last one was Super Bowl 29, 49ers versus the Chargers again. This is a Deion factor because the guy opposite Deion got MVP because guess what? They only throw to one side of the field.
Right.
Deion does cover the other half of the world. Okay. Adam, let's start with you. Let's get your top 5 real quick.
Well, you covered all that Ravens Super Bowl, the San Francisco, Cincinnati, the drive, '85 Bears when the refrigerator Perry was running on the goal line.
Yeah.
87 Skins versus Denver, but then the best to me, the '91 Skins. That's the best Super Bowl team of all time.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Gene,
I have no comment.
you got no comment?
Buffalo Bills is all my Super Bowls.
No, they lost all of them.
Yeah, I know. You just said the 90.
I think we mentioned all the ones y'all lost.
Oh, man.
No, well,
Only Adam mentioned the one.
The 91.
I
The 91.
mentioned, 91.
91. Yeah.
Because y'all lost 4 years in a row.
Because it was the Giants. They lost 2 to the Cowboys.
2 to the Cowboys,
one to the Giants, and
1 to the Redskins, 1 to the Giants.
Yeah, there we go. That's all of them. Okay, well, the Washington Commanders had a press conference today to introduce their new GM. I watched the entire thing. Josh Harris and Adam Peters seem to be in lockstep. And the one common thing that I kept picking up here was that they are looking for a head coach to join that same lockstep and to be held accountable. And most importantly, to be a leader of men. Adam, what did you get from the press conference if you got a chance to watch it?
That for sure. No, I just liked everything he had to say. I liked his demeanor. But I was just actually, putting an article about it. Like my favorite part was that he said what they would build through the draft and supplement through free agency. That's I'm a scout myself. I got scouting training, and to hear him say that, that's exactly like 101 what we all learned. And just by looking at his background, I wrote an article about him and Louis Riddick and a couple other guys back in early December that I liked. But Peters and Riddick were my 1A, 1B. And Peters, just his background in scouting, what he did for Denver, what he did for New England, what he did over with 49ers. To me, words are great, but his track record speaks for itself. And one thing that I think not a lot of fans might not understand is, although John Lynch is very knowledgeable, when it comes to player personnel scouting, he's nowhere near the experience of Peters. And everyone I've talked to said Peters was the catalyst behind those, especially those best draft picks on day 2 and 3, that he was the catalyst. A lot of people said, well, what about the Trey Lance situation? Well, apparently he wasn't as heavily involved in that. His bread and butter was more that mid round to 7th round guys, and he's had quite a track record there. So to me, that's what's really I'm looking for him, is really building up this scouting department, because I think it's just been severely lacking. I think they've, granted, you can't go wrong with a lot of Alabama guys, but I think the whole idea was throw it on the wall, draft an SEC guy, and see what happens. I really don't think that there was, I think the scouting department was one of the smallest analytics in the NFL. So now it's going to be one of the biggest. And word is just a lot of their scouts were just like overworked, underpaid, had too many regions. And, and I can say this from, guys that I train with, the ones that burn out quick are the ones that are just all over the place. The ones that they can really base, in the South, Midwest, East, Northwest, those are the scouts that are able to just really focus on a couple schools and, really do good work. And from what I hear about Washington, it was just a disaster, especially with Ron Rivera, because I think he's a true pretender of somebody that really knows talent. I think that, he wrote a lot of his success on Cam Newton and some of the defense that he had in Carolina. But I think when it comes down to it, he just wasn't a good football mind. And I think we're going to have those kind of guys in the building now, because I really believe with this owner, he is going to step back, and he's going to let Peters and, whoever the coach gets in. I think it's just going to be a collective. I do believe it. For once, I believe that the general manager and coach is going to work together and, build this roster. But again, my takeaway is we have somebody in the building, a grown up in the building that knows scouting, has a great track record with Super Bowl teams. And that's what I wanted to see.
So you put together earlier today, you shout out all of his experience, and you put that out on X. If you guys don't follow the Burgundy Gold Report, you really need to do that. Adam comes through, and he's already started his players, day 1, day 2 players already in the Burgundy Gold Report, which you will hear these names in the up and coming draft. So go to the Burgundy Gold Report, read back, and start looking at some of these names and things, and reading the articles that he puts out. He does a wonderful job there. I'm going to tell you what I felt when I was listening to this. I sort of felt like you guys remember, I think Joe Gibbs may have told the story about Jack and Cook when he said he had him and Bobby Beathard together, and it was like, you guys are messing this up. And he's pointing at him. He says, I'm going to go over here and make some more money so you guys can screw it up. But that's what I felt when I was listening to this press conference. And so far, since our last game versus the Dallas Cowboys, and that Monday, Josh came out and told you what he's going to do. And he said he wants it to be quick. And it wasn't even a couple of hours later, we found out all of the GM candidates. And it wasn't even a couple of hours after that we found out all of the coaching candidates. And then we found out he started having interviews. Well, they already started. Wall told us last week that they started interviewing head coaches. So I don't think it's going to be that long before we get to head coaches. Lady A, I'm coming to you, Adam. What are you hearing on the head coaching front?
I think the Vegas odds have been on point with they were on point with Peters, but right now it's Detroit's Johnson and Cleveland's Slovic. I think those are the two front runners. You're going to hear name Raheem Morris is going to be interviewing tomorrow. The name Mike Vrabel is going to be floated around, because I guess in the press conference, it was made clear that it's not just going to be an offensive or defensive mind. It's a leader of men that they're looking for. So right. I think the question is, can the Detroit OC, he's got a nice system. I really like what he does with Gibbs over there. I like what he does with the crossing routes. I really like with the quick game. I think you can plug a lot of quarterbacks into that. Cleveland with Slovic, look what he did with so many different quarterbacks. So those two, if you're looking for offensive minded, that's the word I'm hearing. But again, I definitely think it could be a wild card, but I think with Peters in town, there is a connection to Johnson now. So to me, again, stick with the Vegas odds. I think he's the clear favorite right now.
Lady A.
So in reference to Peters, I mean, I commend him, and we've seen some work that he's done, obviously, and with San Francisco. That was definitely commendable. I mean, he took that team. What was their record? They were like 2 and something, and then next thing you know, they're winning Super Bowls. Okay, wonderful. To I think it was John's point, talking about how he looks like Bruce Wayne. I mean, he has a winner attitude. He smells of money. He smells of success. That's cool. I like that. He used the term cornerstone a little too much for my taste, because I feel like that was really his go-to. He's like, this team is the cornerstone of the NFL. We got cornerstone players. And I'm like, okay, give us something different. But nonetheless, I do feel like, if you know how to make money, it's because you know how to get success. So that is, very reassuring. But I'm just waiting. I just want to sit back and see what happens, see what he does. And I think that the draft would be very telling. And then also this head coach position. Who knows? Who knows? I see you, Don.
I'm not putting it up.
I'm not fooling with Don. But who knows who the head coach is going to be? I mean, we have our suspicions, but once that decision is made, and then once I see the draft, then I can kind of be like, I can make a better statement on how I feel about him.
I can tell you what, if Bruce comes out and says the Commanders are winning or going to the playoffs, and he puts a ticket on it, because we had a guy, this guy Bruce right here, right, told us when nobody, hey, he said, Houston's going to the playoffs, they're winning the division, and we was like, I don't know what you smoking, but that's not happening. Cashed all those tickets, so Sid, you up.
But you're right though. He did put that out there, man. I can't take that from him. Because I was the same way. I was like, I don't see that happening. But then when you think about it, they did have more pieces around him than we thought in the very beginning. So it is what it is.
Yeah. John says here, it jumped out to me that they said they have good people in the building and they just need leadership. I also like the fact that he's helped turn around both Denver and San Fran, which is absolutely what he's done, which is why John is saying that he is a proven commodity. So what can you tell us? Where will Bill Belichick land? Because Sid is really interested in that.
Whatever.
Adam.
Well, I think what the latest is Atlanta. That's the talk, the odds. So I do think that actually happens, because I think he is looking for roster control. I think that could be one of the few teams that gives him that. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think if anyone's going to give him roster control, it's going to be them. Be a mistake, but
some of the free agents that we have absolutely can add to our. Washington. Dump Truck Don says Washington has way too many free agents that can go elsewhere. That's absolutely true, and some of them you will expect to go somewhere because they're just not as talented as we believe, right? And some of them will still be free agents because the league will speak on a bunch of them. Which free agents do you see that we have that we need to bring back, Adam?
Right now, for the most part, you let almost all of them walk. Cam Curl, that's number one, and it's not even close. But the question is, how much does he really think he's going to get? Because again, this is a league. It's about turnovers. It's about stopping big plays. And granted, he's been all around 100% of snaps. That's the Iron Man right there. But are we talking about 13 and a half? Or are we talking about 18? And that's going to be the difference of going to free agency. Will they let him test it? I think the franchise number is under 13. I think it's 12.5. I'm not sure, but honestly, that would be my consideration with over 90 million in cap room. And I think they can create more with some cuts and get over 100. So I think that franchising him would be the best way to go. Other than that, Kendall Fuller, I know a lot of hometown people really like him, but I think really the idea of him even playing safety is what I hear a lot of people on social media talking about. He's not Woodson. You know what I mean? He's not what Woodson was in Green Bay. He's not that talent level that, can just put him back
slow.
there. going to pay him, $10 million because that's what he's going to get that in open market because teams are desperate for corners. But now free agency and the draft, I don't, even if Benjamin St. Juste if this was a contract, yeah, I'd even consider releasing him. But he's on that rookie deal that's real cheap. So I think there's no reason to get rid of him. But man, Forbes, you got to develop him. You got to bring in a real defensive mind, position coaches. That a lot of people are calling him a bust. I think we're far from that. I think he just needs some real coaching. I hope he takes Darrell Green up on his his request because I think Darrell Green said he could help him
fix him in 10 minutes.
He said 10 minutes.
He said 10 minutes.
Darrell's a man of his word, and I'm not saying he's going to be an instant Pro Bowler, but I'm going to say he found something in his tape right away that I think can get fixed. So in saying that, you just got to build. I think that there's really nobody on this team expendable. I think John Allen, I think he's the number one, in my opinion, that's going to be on the trading block heading into the draft. And again, as crazy it is, don't be surprised if even Terry McLaurin, if a package comes along that's sweet enough, but again, most likely to me, it's John Allen because I think that you can build a lot of that defensive line through free agency and the draft. But I think that with McLaurin, with those 4 straight years, 1,000 yards, his stock has definitely gone up. So I don't think there's going to be a team really willing to offer what he'd be worth. But again, my point is nobody's off the block right now. I think anybody's on block.
I'm going to need you to clip that off, Ed. I'm going to need you to mark down that time that Adam said that. We're going to put that aside in our archive. And if that happens, we're going to blast that out because it was said first here. Let's switch shifts. Let's switch gears real fast. Let's go around the NFL and we'll review what happened over Super Wildcard weekend. We'll start off with the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans. The Cleveland Browns traveled down to Houston, and the Texans, from the word go, came out like gangbusters. I think it caught the Browns by surprise. Ted, what did you see in this game? Oh, no, hold on. Wait, you was late. Adam, and then I'm coming to you, Gene. What did you guys see in this game?
I've just seen a well-coached Texans team. And I said, I think I came on the show with you guys prior to the draft, and I think everybody was talking about the Alabama kid, and I really liked Stroud a lot more. I just liked his intangibles. I like that exercise. I think, it means something in the NFL to have that. But, man, I just think Ryans is just doing an unbelievable job. And I just think it really is a testament that coaching matters in football. And if your players really believe in you, honestly, their roster is not a championship roster. I think they're really making it on guts right now, and, playing for their coach. So I think you continue to build that team. That's a team right now that on the draft, I think we're going to see this team, 5 years from now, still, challenging for the division every year in the playoffs because Ryans he's doing a hell of a job. And I think that's going to make owners like Harris look at the situation that I think everyone thinks the offensive coach has to be it because they had Ron Rivera, going. But I think it's about who can buy in. And I think that sometimes in the interview process, you get a good sense of that. But this Texans team, they're just good. They're well coached.
Gene, what do you think about this Cleveland-Houston game?
I'm not going to lie. I thought that Cleveland defense would really put something on Stroud. But it seemed like from the start, Stroud was just so calm, like he was just having fun. He was so relaxed.
Right.
He didn't worry about anything. He felt like it looked like he belonged back there.
Hey, and he told everybody, I've been in the playoffs before. It may not have been the NFL playoffs, but I've been in the playoffs before.
And he played just like that. And it just seemed like the team is just playing so free. They don't look like they're stressed. It just seemed like they have no worries in the world, and they just saying, let's play ball. And the coach got them believing they can win, and they know they can win. And I'm telling you, I'm picking them this week.
Okay.
I'm picking them this week over that Ravens defense.
Okay, say it, Lady A. What did y'all think about the Miami Dolphins Chiefs game?
Ladies.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Well, I think, first of all, everything surrounding the game was a hot mess. Okay. From the weather to where you can go to watch the game, which I'm not going to mention. All of that just was a hot mess. And, it's been said on this show many times before that the Dolphins didn't play well. against teams who had winning records. Well, this is the Super Bowl champs. That's who they are.
Right.
They embarrassed them. Even, I mean, Mahomes, I mean, his little helmet shattered and the whole nine. They still hurt their feelings. So I can't see that I knew what the score was going to be, because clearly I thought it was going to be different, but I didn't know the Chiefs would win. Like, it wasn't a surprise who won this game.
All right, say it.
Well, you know, of course. I mean, the thing that happened was Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes did his thing. He showed up, and you know, he showed out. The thing about it is that they're getting hot at the right time. This team getting hot at the right time, even though the temperature was absolutely horrendous. You know, they got hot at the right time. And Miami seemed like they played like they were cold. It's like they were not gelling. They were not doing anything in sync with the rest of the team. They struggled. They struggled to get open. They struggled to catch passes. There were a bunch of drops out there. Offensive line struggled. And it was a complete opposite for Kansas City. Kansas City came in like, okay, we were the champs. We're going to show up. We're going to do what we're supposed to do.
And they came out with a mindset to run the ball. Rice
from the University of SMU, who for some reason, Rice, SMU continues to put wide receivers out. Don't ask me where they keep finding these cats at. But they keep going to SMU, and they come to the league, and they're showing up. And he became the number one wide receiver in that game. You know, short of Kelsey, he was the number one, so they could no longer can double Kelsey because you got Rice running back and forth. He had 183 yards for halftime. You know, it would seem like it. I mean, so, you know, but hey, we'll see.
Hey, you got to run to stay warm. Keep warm. Yeah. Okay, so someone here went to the Cowboys-Packers game, so I'm gonna turn it over to this person right now. Gene, how was that game?
It was unbelievable because I can't stand Dallas. So period. So it was very fun because if you would have seen them Dallas Cowboy fans' face, I mean, after Green Bay just drove right down the field, and you could see the air just let out the dome. Everybody like, oh my God. I mean, it had got so bad that the fans started fighting each other. Because you know, it was some Dak, Dallas fans, Dak fans, and it was a guy talking about, we need to get rid of Dak. We need to get rid of Dak. And the other guy went, the hell with you. We ain't got Dak, then who we got? So they going back and forth. So the security had to come and break them up.
That's the fan they made watch the rest of the game. With the memes going on, you go sit here and watch the rest of this game. That's your punishment.
And then third quarter, that's when everybody started leaving. They was just cussing on the way out. It was so many fights against each other. Dallas fans on Dallas fans. It was just
that's the way we like it.
But I enjoyed it so much.
I'm sure.
When I go there, I wear my Buffalo Bills gear. But I loved it. When they lose, I can't wait to see Stephen A. on him and Shannon on.
Yeah.
Say they lost it already. All right, let's move on. Let's hit this one up real quick. The Rams and the Lions game absolutely was a slugfest. Both teams had the Detroit Lions had the mindset of coming out running the ball, and then they established the pass after that. Matthew Stafford took a beating. The Lions defense absolutely buckled down inside the red zone, holding them to I think it was like 3 for 4 or something like that in the red zone. But it gave Detroit a time to get out and get going first, and then their defense could hunt. But then Matthew Stafford is the player that he is, tough, gritty, and he came back, and it all came down to I think a missed field goal. All right, here we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. Gene.
Hey, how about them Bills Mafia? It was a great game. It really was. I got kind of nervous there when they started to come back there at the end of the third quarter, but I knew we had Josh Allen. As long as he don't throw no interceptions, I'm always good with Josh Allen. I know we can win. If he does not throw any interceptions, I know we're gonna win. And I'm sure y'all seen him run right down their throat. Other quarterbacks, when he ran that 52-yard touchdown, a lot of other quarterbacks would have slid. but he threw a move and he was about to slide. He said, "No, I'm going all the way." And
First off, I want to know, where did Josh Allen get these wheels? Because I believe, like, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but his scout, his thing for speed was terrible. Like, I mean, did he study under Tom Brady? Where
But elusive. No. Definitely not fast, but quicker than fast. No, he was at Wyoming. No, he was known to put on some moves on guys in the open field, but I don't think anybody ever thought that he would get to this level, that it would be like a go-to. He'd be like, a true dual threat. I think that, it was about getting his arm under control, because he had a cannon for an arm coming out. I think the biggest concern was, could he put it all together? And I think he's really showing that he's that guy.
Yeah, he must be going to a track coach and when no one's looking. Go ahead, Gene.
He seemed to be getting faster, though. I agree.
Yeah, I think when he was with Gable that's with the New York Giants, I think if Gable stays, he becomes even a better quarterback. Because Gable took him underneath his wing. The first couple of years in the season, he was just all over the place.
Right.
He got to Gable. Gable got him under control, ran a nice offense that it worked. And I think if he was another year underneath him, he'd even be better.
Sid, you want to ask any questions of Gene about that offensive coordinator?
No, I think Joe Brady is the difference in the back half of the season.
Yes.
Without Joe Brady coming in offensive coordinator and utilizing the talents of one Georgia Bulldog, James Cook, then we would not see where they are now. Yeah, Diggs was a little upset, but what he doesn't understand is they found a mismatch in James Cook against a lot of linebackers. The way he moved in, put him in the slot, put him on the outside. He's a mismatch that a lot of teams haven't really accounted for, because he wasn't being used early in the season. This is why I say I wouldn't be surprised. I said this other day that Joe Brady don't get an interview for one of these head coaching jobs. The guy has the ability to utilize talent that's around him. It was a reason why Joe Burrow was putting up those points at LSU that one year.
Right.
There's a reason. It just went out of the blue. That system works when you have the pieces in place to do what you needed to do. All they needed to do was get Josh Allen to play under the system and not wild man ball.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing since Joe Brady has come in and offensive coordinator.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, I told you before the game started, the Lions have 3 legitimate wide receivers. The problem with the Lions was the offensive coordinator / head coach went away from what made them successful when they got into the red zone. They stopped trying to run the ball. He got pretty. You can't do that.
Right.
You got to stick to what got you there.
Yeah. Our last game last night, our last Monday night game was the Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield looked like a complete number 1 pick. That has more to do with the Eagles defense. I asked the question a while ago, are the Eagles broken? Everyone knows that answer is yes now, right? The Eagles are broken. Jalen Hurts looked like he didn't deserve any of the money that he had. Coming out today that some of the players did not trust the coaches. They didn't know who was making the calls. They don't believe in what's going on right now. Said it all year that they lost both coordinators, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, and that's probably the problem with the Eagles. All right, let's do this. Let's take a breath real quick, and let's get to Adam and asking Adam about the draft. Okay, so if you guys have draft questions, put them in the chat right now. I'm going to start this off, Adam. All right, so what do you see, or what do you believe should be the Commanders' number 1 focus going into this year's draft?
Well, I think after the season they had, I was somebody that was hoping Hal could at least, show out, I guess, as, a top half quarterback. And he was on his way there until we started facing some real defenses. And I think he kind of got exposed, and I think EB takes a lot of the blame too. But I think it just shows that I think Hal's a guy that you want in the room, good spot starter. I'm just not sure he could lead the franchise. I think that, you want to see more. Back in the day, he'd get another season to really compete in camp. But I think that, as much as a lot of fans are just keep, churning offensive line, I think a new team, new general manager, new everything. I think a franchise quarterback, it's definitely going to happen. It's the question now is, who's it going to be. I think, with all the drama you're hearing in the media with Caleb Williams, I'm not even sure I believe it. I think that's what people just fall for, this whole soap opera story that his father and him are conspiring, that they won't declare if Chicago's picking number one, but he declared, and Chicago still has a number one pick. So I think that there's going to be a lot of possibilities, but I think one way or another, Washington is going to end up with either Williams, May, or, even the dark horse, Jaden Daniels from LSU. Might be a little early for him, but I think somehow, even if they move back a couple spots, stay at number 2, I'd be shocked if they don't pick a quarterback, because I don't think you're rebuilding a team like they are, and you start off an offensive lineman, because I think they have 5 picks in the top 100. There's plenty of offensive linemen. They're going to be there. Granted, not as good as Fashanu, and all of those guys are the top of the draft, and it's a pretty big drop after that. But I think that a team that's looking to take that new next level and rebuild, and have something for fans to come to the stadium. People aren't going to come to the stadium for a left tackle. They're going to want to see a quarterback. So I think I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen.
All right, Stan, I'm coming to you then, Lady A, but let's get this question from John right here. It says, Adam, what do you think about Talia being forced to enter the draft?
What's the question? I can't.
Talia, I think he's talking about Tua's little brother, Leah, from University of Maryland.
Not getting that. I was shocked. I was not surprised he didn't get it. He's asking for a 6-year eligibility, and I don't think he really had the basis to ask for it. But this is a guy that's a late day 3, I think, in the combine. He'll have some flashes here and there, but it's going to be a late day 3 guy. They're going to make him prove it, even as an undrafted guy. So, the bloodlines are there, but I think that's where it pretty much ends. I think him and his brother are 2 totally different kind of quarterbacks. But I don't know. It adds to an intriguing, day 2, day 3, crop of quarterbacks. But again, I don't think we're going to see Washington in that category. So it won't really matter for them.
All right, say it.
Hold on a second. Let me change it. Okay, I'm a disagree with Adam on this, and I don't think the Commanders need to draft another quarterback. I think they need to address the offensive line. This is what I said last year prior to this year starting, that you guys need to address the offensive line. You have this draft is tackles deep. Left tackle, right tackle, whichever one you need, they're deep at tackle. Even if you need a center. I'm not going to say us, but we got one. Anyway, so if the pieces of what you need I would say address those pieces first, because don't make a difference who you put in there. If you can't block for him, it's going to be just like it was this past year. He's going to put out some good tape, but there are going to be times where he's going to throw pick because he's running for his life. He's going to drop the ball or whatever. So addressing the offensive line is at the top of the list, similar to what Atlanta needs to do. I feel that Atlanta needs to make you a trade at quarterback. That's my personal opinion. It may not happen, but that's my opinion. But they have to address the offensive line. I don't know how this guy was rated as one of the top offensive tackles by the PFF, but he was hot trash of the year. Don't ask me how, but it's the way. I don't put these numbers out. They put those numbers out because every time I turn around, the quarterback was running for his life. So I really want to know what he grades from. I'm being serious.
Shoot, because I have to get somebody from PFF on.
And I can only call with a seat. If the man can't stand back there 3 seconds and throw the ball without being hit, some of these numbers is wrong somewhere. I'm sorry. Right. It is what it is. I told you, Pick. They drafted Bijan. If he can't run the ball, what's going to happen then? Exactly what I said. Exactly what happened. Trash. Yeah. But we have to address the offensive line.
All right. Lady A. Lady A.
So last season, I definitely was screaming the same thing as far as the offensive line. But the reality of the situation is at number 2, most teams tend to go with a quarterback. I've kind of looked deep into this, and a lot of people are saying that Caleb is going to go first, and that we're going to choose May second.
Well, that's going to go to Don's question here in a second.
That's what a lot of people are saying. However, next pick, I think it's pick 36. I've seen a lot of people talking about Patrick Paul. That I like. because we need offense. Like I don't care who you have at quarterback. If they're getting destroyed, you're doing them a disservice. We've seen that because I feel like Sam is better than what he has had in front of him, literally. So how do you feel about Patrick? Are there any other names outside of Patrick Paul for, that next pick?
I think Mims from Georgia. I think he's on the right side, but I think that could be a guy that possibly slips. Talking about Paul, I think we're going to see a run on left tackles towards that end of that first round. So I think a guy like Paul is actually, he's going to get up into that first round, those last couple picks. So I think that if you're going to want your guy, I think you're going to have to maybe move up from a couple picks up into that first round. But like we're talking about, this is a deep class. J.C. Latham, another guy that's on the right side of Alabama, a guy that I wrote about from Oregon, Fuga. That guy, he's a right tackle, but another mauler. So the question is, once you start, dropping down a little bit, you have more of those solid right tackle prospects, not as many as the left tackle prospects. But Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, he's another one. So you're going to have a couple guys that are, right tackle or even considered to move inside when you start to get in the second round range. So I think that if I'm Washington, again, I've said it multiple times, whatever happens with that first pick, which I don't think it's tackle. I think, one guy that we're not talking about is Marvin Harrison Jr. If somehow he's there at number 2, does Washington pass up possibly the closest thing to Randy Moss that we've seen? And I think that'll be a great spot to trade back if they get offered, or again, they take him and pair him with Terry McLaurin and, roll with a veteran and draft a guy, in the second round somehow. But I think that it's going to be an opportunity that they have those extra picks. So moving back into the first round to get a guy like Paul or another one of the tackles, I think you got to consider it because, again, there is talent there. But again, you start to get later in the second, third round, it's more right tackle heavy than left tackle heavy. I think the real good left tackles they're gonna be gone by probably the end of the first round. I don't think there'll be, maybe one slips to the second, but I think if you want that blindside guy, you're gonna have to move up.
Now, I will say this, that those guys that come to the University of Georgia and play tackle, they play both left and right, just like Roger Jones. Roger Jones is a left tackle. Guess where he was playing in Pittsburgh?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So. Gene, get your question ready for the draft. Let's address Dump Truck Dom here. He says, Adam, what's all the hype around Drake May? Why is he considered the number 2 pick?
Yeah, he's a guy that I put out a scouting report on. Jaden Daniels is going to be the next guy. I think, Caleb Williams, I don't think there's really much more to say that nobody knows. So that's why I decided to go with May first, because I do think he gets the nod over Daniels just because, again, the comparisons that I see to Hal are really comical, because this guy, every award, first team ACC, anything you can think of between 2022, 2023, he was on that list. He has things that he needs to refine, but I don't think that this is a draft where you have like guys like Andrew Luck, that are perfectly refined and ready to go. And because I'll say the same thing about Caleb Williams, that dude's going to struggle in the beginning too. May will struggle in the beginning too, but he's got size, 6'3", 230, he's not going to be confused with a guy that's a dual threat, but man, he can pick up, yards when he needs to with his legs. And I just like what he does when the play breaks down. You're talking about a guy that an offensive line that was subpar, especially this past year compared to the year before. So what he had to do a lot was make plays out of the pocket. That's what I really liked about him, because I think what you see in the modern day NFL is they're really getting guys out of the pocket, throwing the run, and what can he do there? Again, he's just got to refine some of his footwork. But the idea that he's overhyped, again, I'm sorry, it's just a casual, because he is really that guy. I don't know if he's a franchise guy that's going to lead your team to a Super Bowl, because I feel I'm even on the fence about that with Caleb Williams. But I think at number 2, would it be a reach for him? Definitely not.
Gene, what do you got?
And that's what I want to ask him about, Caleb Williams. So, Adam, if you were a Chicago Bears, do you get Justin Fields and go get that Caleb, or do you keep Justin Fields and go another route?
I think the offense has to be tailored for Fields. So I think if you're a team that's willing to do that, you'll keep him. But I don't think they are. I think that they're going to move him, and I think that they're going to go with Caleb Williams. I just think that, with what they want to do to try to keep up with the modern day NFL, they want a guy that can have that Mahomes-like improvisational ability. And, Fields, that he definitely stepped up and, played well the last couple games, it just showed, another repertoire that I think a lot of people didn't think he had. But you have Caleb Williams. I think that they're going to look for that trade that can maybe blow them away. Like if you're talking about maybe, multiple day 1, day 2 picks this year, and then a first round in each of the next 2 drafts, I think they'd be crazy not to consider and try to roll with Fields. But unless they get that offer, I think that's going to be Caleb Williams. They're just going to pair him with what they have and just spend the rest of the draft really, adding to that offensive line and, add them some more weapons. But I think going into free agency, they'll be able to pitch that to, some of the better guys on the market that, Caleb Williams is definitely a guy they'll target. So it'll be a pass-heavy offense.
Yeah, that's good.
That's going to be crazy because Justin Fields hasn't gotten this opportunity, but it's like we move on to the next person, and just so happened we have the number 1 pick and with the number 8 pick or something like that, and then they have some cap space as well to build the team out. And Justin Fields then is maybe shipped off to another team for like a 2nd, 3rd rounder or something like that. We got one more question. It says, Adam, who are you looking forward to seeing in this year's Senior Bowl?
Oh,
you looking forward to watching this year's Senior Bowl? I
think that Washington University's Pence Jr., I think, he really disappointed in the bowl game. I think that people really had high hopes, but I think, it's just a testament to how good Michigan is. But, me and my contributor, we've been really big on him the last 2 years. Again, the injuries are just hurting him. I think that if he didn't have, those both ACL shots, I think you'd be looking at him as possibly the 2nd quarterback in this draft. But I think it'll be really interesting to see how he performs. Can he sneak up into the end of that 1st round? But I see him right now firmly probably in that 2nd round, even though I think he's going to be 26. But I think, we saw last year with the quarterback from Tennessee, I believe he went to the 3rd. He fell to the 3rd with Detroit, I think it was. But this Penix is far superior. Just, again, similar, but injury concerns. So that's a guy I'm looking forward. I want to see him really ball out because I think that's a guy I'd love to see, move up from probably that late 2 to, early 2nd round.
He killed Texas, but Michigan is literally like a pro defense. And he struggled a lot with it. His wide receivers were getting open, and then it started messing with his accuracy. I know Blink just lost it. Why do you think that is? I mean, his offensive line had a poor day as well.
Right. What I like about him is, he's able to fit in tight windows. But I think, again, it's hard to – unless you're there knowing exactly the routes being run, exactly the concepts, it's really hard to be like, okay, well, it's on the quarterback or it's on the receiver. Even though they really have some great receivers over at Washington, it's just a hard one. And again, he's the most technically sound from the pocket passer probably in this class. It's just about those injuries that are concerned. So I think that's a big headliner to go to the Senior Bowl. Usually they're, for the most part, they're not as high as, someone like him. But I think that this is a guy that he can go in there, and if he can really impress coaches, they're going to really grill his medicals hard during the combine. So I don't think that'll put him into the 1st round. But, hey, teams need quarterbacks. So if he somehow blows them away in the end of the 1st round, I think that there's a team that might be willing to move up or, even move back for him.
All right, Adam, can you stick with us a little bit?
Sure.
All right, cool. We got 2 games for Saturday that we got to pick, okay? Our guests can pick these games any kind of way. Say, do you want to review what we did this last week?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to make the slides, but it's gonna be real easy because it's gonna be very easy. In the playoff weekend, we're gonna give Pickens the leader. Pickens the leader at 6-0. He led the way at 6-0. Said Lady A,
and we don't have a graphic for that. We don't have a graphic for that one. No,
we all got 3 and 3.
I'll make the graphic. We'll run it back on Saturday so you can see it.
Say me, you, and Ant were 3 and 3.
All of us 3 and 3.
Yeah, all I needed was the Eagles to do another like a something.
I needed the Rams to turn around and score another touchdown. So
that's true. But I got the Rams.
You needed to be 6-0 like Pick was, is what you needed. Pick went 6-0. That's right. Okay.
Whatever.
Listen.
Here you go.
So petty. So
Here
so
you
petty.
go.
He's so
Hey, but
petty.
one of us holding the hardware.
Oh
FYI.
my god.
I'm trying to figure out if you're gonna have a playoff edition of that belt or not. Our first game that we have this weekend coming up is Saturday at 3:30 kickoff Central Time. That is, we got the Houston Texans going up to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Houston Texans are coming off an impressive win over the Cleveland Browns. As we all said earlier, C.J. Stroud showed that he is composed during these playoffs. The last time that the Baltimore Ravens were the number one seed, they absolutely came out on the divisional round and lost. Well, they had 2 weeks off. They've been out. They've had a chance to heal. Will that scenario repeat itself versus the Houston Texans? Baltimore is a tough run the game ball first team, and then Lamar is the most difficult person to attack in the NFL because he'll hit you over the top with his arm, and he can kill you with his legs. Let's look at the line. We got the Houston Texans at +9 at -110. Their money line is +320. The Baltimore Ravens are -9 at -110. Their money line is -420. The over-under set at 43.5, 110 both ways. Gene, Adam, you can't do this, right, Adam? No. Okay, Adam can't. Okay, Gene, you can pick this any kind of way you want. We have to pick it a different way, but you can just tell us who you got winning this game.
Going with the Texans with the upset.
Texans with the upset. All right, listen, I am going to absolutely go first. Even though I should not be going first, but I'm still going to go first so you guys can follow me. Listen, I don't believe that Baltimore chokes this game away. Do they win by 9? I doubt that because this Houston team is gritty. So just give me give me Baltimore money line.
Well, that scares me. I looked at the injury report, and the Texans have a lot of people that they're definitely not doing good. Sorry to hear, but I'm going to go ahead with Maryland for this.
You're going Maryland. Mm-hmm. All right, say it.
You going money line too, Lady A?
Yeah, I'm not doing that spread.
I'm just making sure,
Yeah.
I'm just making sure we're on the same sheet of paper here. I think Houston will win this game. Baltimore's had a week off to prepare for this game, so it could go either way at this point. I said I was gonna start giving Lamar his props. I mean, because he showed up and showed out. So with that being said, give me Ziovar. I'm gonna take the over.
How you just gonna go French on us?
Hey,
VV.
You know the temper is on Baltimore.
Hey, listen. The pressure is on Baltimore. The pressure is absolutely on Baltimore. But I think that they, I don't think it's a walk in the park for them. I think they walk away with the win. Our next game is the Green Bay Packers traveling out to San Fran to take on the 49ers. Green Bay did their thing. They attacked a smaller defense in the Dallas Cowboys with the run game, and then that led to absolutely wide open receivers in the play action game. The weakness for the San Francisco 49ers is their secondary, but their front seven is probably one of the fastest and biggest in the NFL. San Francisco's offense is going to come out on fire. Of course, Christian McCaffrey's had 2 weeks to recover. Deebo Samuels is a monster. Their offensive line, they're nothing but thugs. And they are absolutely going to be out to prove that they should be back into the divisional, to the championship round of playoffs. And their first step is the divisional round of taking care of San Fran. Let's look at this line. You got the Green Bay Packers at +9.5 at -109. Their money line is +630. The San Francisco is -9.5 at -112. Their money line is -480. The over-under set at 50.5, 109 for the over, 112 for the under. Gene, who you got winning this game?
San Francisco.
The San Francisco treat. Listen, put that down for me too. Do I think that this will be a 9.5 point game? Again, what do we say about 10-point spreads? We say it's totally disrespectful. We're not going to disrespect Green Bay. I do think that the San Francisco defense will make Jordan Love come back down to earth a little bit. This is a tougher defense, but I think it's going to be the front seven that does it. They were having trouble generating pressure. And am I saying that Chase Young is going to come and have like 4 or 5 sacks? Absolutely not. But I do believe that those linebackers for San Fran is the difference. And when you add them into the blitz, they probably will get home. Give me San Fran money line. Lady A.
I'm a little afraid because I'm going 49ers money line. That's 2 for 2 for me and pick, and I don't like it.
Well, you should. I went 6-0.
That one time.
Oh boy, he don't want to jinx it.
Right, he done got real fancy.
He don't want to jinx it.
Hey, I'm trying to get some Wilsons over here, but y'all keep following me.
Yeah, I'm have to go with it. This is gonna be a clean sweeper here. I don't believe Green Bay goes into 49ers and win this game. I don't care how much preparation they've done. I think with the ability to give the 49ers a chance to heal up and be ready for this game is what's going to hurt Green Bay. Had this been a week-to-week game where they had to play last week and come back this week, I'd probably give Green Bay a fighting chance, but I think the 49ers win this game as well.
Okay. So with that being said, those are our games for Saturday. Our Saturday games. We have 2 games on Sunday, so make sure you guys tune in to us on Saturday. Right as a little bit after the Green Bay game will be kicking off, we'll be live. We may try to stream it. We'll see what everyone says because we haven't streamed a playoff game yet. You know that's what we do. We stream playoff games and we got to have snack checks, right? Hey, Pick is not acting brand new since going 6-0. All right, are you ready? Say it.
Yeah, I'm as ready as I'm gonna get. This ain't gonna be bad today.
All right,
it is what it is.
Give me 1 second there, sir. All right, now we present League and Oil, brought to you by CLP
and sunflower oil.
And sunflower oil. Somebody, I do have a feeling. I do have a feeling that somebody here is going to be exposed on League and Oil. Say it. The floor is yours.
I was trying to find my bottle of CLP right quick. I don't know where I put it because I'm gonna hold it up. Brought to my CLP. Well, hey, welcome. I'm back. It's Tuesday, one of the last couple of Tuesdays we're gonna have left this year. So we're gonna talk about what happened over this past weekend.
Okay.
First of all, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
You hear me? When I tell you can hear a rap on Cotton up and down the day, you hear me? You hear me? Huh? You hear me? Okay. No Cowboys want to talk today. Anyway,
no.
The Dan Quinn defense showed up. The same Dan Quinn defense he had in Atlanta. I kept trying to tell people, it's subjective to the tight end. If they got a good tight end, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. Oh, okay. You got tight ends running wide open on this side, wide open on this side, wide open on this side. Dude caught a touchdown with nobody around. Hey, y'all see him over there?
No. Oh, say it. I just got it. I just got this in. This just in. Do not cover the tight ends. That's Dan Quinn. That's what came.
Excuse me. We will not be taking anything from ESPN. It just happened.
Yeah. No.
Wait a minute.
Hey, I'm not trying to get banned, dog. Hey, but they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
Look good throughout the year. Get into the playoffs. Abracadabra. Poof, there they go. Out of there. Anyway, staying in the same division. Hey, same division. My way good. Hey, you're gonna poo-poo one, let's poo-poo the other one.
Let's get it.
Right?
Cry, Eagles, cry.
Let's just say Jonathan, if he's watching, said clerk at my station.
We calling people out.
Right? He's so petty.
Is he here today?
Oh.
Oh, he was here today. I see him on there. Hey, Jonathan. You would call him. I was hitting the door. He coming in. What's up, Carter? Today. And he said 2 words a day. It is what it is. We knew the loss of these offensive and defensive coordinator was affecting the way this team was playing.
Yeah.
And for the first time in NFL history, a team that went 10-1 was bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
Dang.
That's not the kind of records you want to make. That's not the kind of marks you want to make.
They were 10-1 at one point.
Yeah.
Hey, they're losing a bunch of pieces this year. So, I don't know what they're going to do next year. They're going to have to figure that out. Defensive coordinator, yada, yada, yada. I personally didn't like the way they used the front four. That's my personal opinion. They can do what they want. I'm not a coach. I'm not being paid.
Johnson, that's a false fact. Johnson, that's a false fact.
He ain't put the real one
It is what it is. They look like hot trash. It is what it is. Cleveland.
Oh, boy.
They played like they was outdoors. The number 1 defense stayed outside the stadium and tried to cover from out there because they wasn't covering nobody.
No.
They wasn't covering nobody. Flacco thought he was outside throwing that ball. They was in a dome. I thought there was a dome down there in Houston. They like playing outside. They was playing from outside. I guess they thought we could come in and just roll over Houston. And by the way, Cowboys, the Falcons beat Green Bay, FYI. I mean, I didn't mean to go have to circle back to that, but I did. I went ahead to circle back to it so they can know they know what's going on. But lastly but not least, the Miami Dolphins. I guess they didn't put their thermals on.
Oh boy.
They didn't have their Mickey Mouse boots on.
Mickey Mouse.
They didn't have the belt warmers, the ankle warmers, the knee warmers. They was dropping balls. They was tripping over feet. They was slipping the slide. I think one time Tua just fell down. He did. He just fell down.
They said they was in a hurry to get back on the plane.
To
go
hey,
back.
we gonna need Kansas City to build a dome. We from South Florida. It ain't too bad today. I was gonna say it ain't too bad today. That's all I gotta say about Miami. Miami was MIA for real.
MIA for real.
We just weren't using the initials. They was MIA for real. Out of it.
Okay.
MIA. So with that being said, as leaking oil.
Leaking oil. Brought to you by TLP, the best segment on First String Podcast besides the information we give you guys. You get to hear that guy's crazy laugh right there. Oh my goodness. Listen, say it. I gotta tell you, man, you bring the heat with leaking oil every time. Gene, thank you for joining us today, man. We appreciate Bills Mafia for stepping in with us. We appreciate those colors you wear right there for real. And you got to really find out where Josh Allen getting his speed from and come back and tell us another time, okay?
Super Bowl.
From the Super Bowl. Okay, Super Bowl or bust. I got you. Listen, shout out to Adam from the Burgundy and Gold Report. Make sure you guys drop in on that Burgundy and Gold Report. Read his articles. He tells you guys, he gives you a ton of information on the people in the up-and-coming draft. You can find them on Facebook and X or Twitter, whichever one you go. It is the Burgundy and Gold Report. I mean, it's not just for Commanders fans, but he's just giving you information on players that are going to be drafted, and he'll bring you a ton of information. And I swear, between him and Sid, I am really prepared for the draft because I just turned to say, Adam, Sid, what are we doing here? And these guys have the information for us.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, next week on Saturday, we'll hit you guys again right as that Green Bay San Fran game is kicking off, and we will do our picks for our Sunday game. And I'm working on our guest for next week, but trust me, it's going to be an amazing guest. Say, did we cover everything?
Yes, we did.
We did. Lady A, do you have anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No.
That's a good week. That's a really good week right there. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell them, say it.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Hell.
Ready for your beats? My first song to the person.